Hey girl, are your healthy habits all over the place or non-existent? Do you wish you could find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and really just talk a little nicer to yourself? If you have tried to habit hack your health, but the strategies you've tried just haven't worked for you in your busy lifestyle, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, behavior change specialist, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I am here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about our health and our habits. How do I know? Well, because I've transformed my own life through habit hacking, and now my family gets the best of me, and I now help my clients do the same. I'm now going to teach you how to create healthy habits in less time, guilt-free for all seasons of your life. It's not your fault your habits haven't worked, my friend. We just have to do them differently. So, are you ready to feel empowered and transform your habits and life? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 218 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. Hey, I have to send a big thank you. Feeling very grateful today. Last week was my 42nd birthday, and I received so many wonderful messages from folks, and I just so appreciate the love. I had a really great day. I coached in the morning. I went paddleboarding with my husband, then out to brunch. Then y'all, I took a nap. I took an hour nap, and it was glorious, and spent the rest of the day with my family. And to tell you the truth, like the week before, I was feeling like really in my feelings about being 42. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm just like in my 40s now, right? And I remember my parents being this age as well, but I'm really blessed with some amazing people in my life. I'm blessed with health and blessed with the opportunity to be able to have this podcast and coach amazing women to help them not just survive their days, but really thrive and look at health and wellness as training for life. And the gap in order to do that is through the power of habit hacking. So let's get into today's episode. Just feeling very grateful today. Wanted to tell you thank you. I'm wondering if you've ever taken a personality test before. I feel like we all have, right? There's so many different ones out there. They are great because they give you insight on how to best habit hack your health, really. I think a lot of times you go into them kind of already like knowing your personality, right? Like you're checking off multiple choice questions and you're like, oh yeah, well I can see where this is going. This is totally me. Like I'm an Enneagram 3, wing 2, like there's Myers-Briggs. I recently had someone on the show, an episode upcoming pretty soon, talking about human design. I mean, there's so many different ways to really look into your personality. And I love being able to gather data about yourself because a lot of times we have subjective thoughts about ourselves. We have subjective feelings about health, which is actually one of the first steps in the habit hacking system I teach in the accelerator, is to look at the facts, look at what we've been telling about ourselves, then habit hack it through the lens of Atomic Habits for Women. But today we're talking about a personality test that is specific for creating habits. I love it so much. It's called the Four Tendencies. Now, I actually include in each of my accelerators, that's my signature program to help you habit hack your health. We go through my habit hacking system, which is based on Atomic Habits for Women, and help you create custom habit hacks around mindset, movement, and food freedom challenges that the challenges we habit hack are given to me by you all. This program has been created for you. We have a community. If you grab any of the accelerators where I help you habit hack live in the community each week as well. So go grab it. It's linked in the show notes. But one of the first things we do at the beginning of the accelerator is have you take the Four Tendencies quiz. So what is it? So the Four Tendencies is a personality framework developed by Gretchen Rubin. I love Gretchen Rubin. She has this framework outlined in her book, The Four Tendencies. It categorizes people into four main tendencies based on how they respond to inner and outer expectations. Okay, so let me share what the four tendencies are. I'll actually share which one I am too. And then we're going to provide you with some custom habit hacks for each tendency to help you get the wheels turning for you. This is a investigative quiz you can have for yourself to help you really dial in your habit hacks based on what your tendency is. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 tendencies. The first one is an upholder. Upholders meet both inner and outer expectations. They're motivated by a sense of duty and self-discipline. They value structure and tend to stick to commitments and follow rules. They're generally self-motivated and have an easy time meeting their own goals as well as those set by others. I am not an upholder, but maybe you're listening, you're like, oh, that sounds like me. This totally sounds like my husband. I don't think he's taken the 4 Tendencies quiz. I have to have him take this because, y'all, I know he's an upholder. Next is a questioner. Questioners question all expectations, whether inner or outer. They need to understand the reasoning, the why behind tasks and expectations before they are willing to comply. They value information and will meet expectations if they see the purpose behind them. They are highly self-directed and prefer tasks that have logical rationale. I am not a questioner. Now I'm thinking my husband's more of a questioner. Maybe he's a little bit of both, an upholder and questioner. Next, obligers. Obligers meet outer expectations, but struggle with inner expectations. They are motivated by external accountability and expectations of others. They tend to put others' needs ahead of their own, sometimes to the detriment of their own personal goals. Obligers may need external support or accountability to meet their own goals. My friends, I am an obliger. I need that outer accountability. If you've been following along on my Instagram stories, you'll see that I randomly decided to start doing a mile a day, just running a mile a day to help keep up with my youngest son who started cross country. Because if he ever wants to go for a run, I don't like running, but I'm like, I want to spend quality time with my son. So I'm going to just do a mile a day, build up my endurance. That way I actually enjoy running with him. Although I probably can't keep up with him at this point. But I've been posting on my stories for outer accountability. Like, I'm posting every day so people see that. And I don't even really care if people see it or not. But for me, it's like an actual like habit loop, a trigger where I'm like, okay, I do it. I post it. I feel like accomplished that I did it. And I showed people that I did it. And like I said, sometimes to our own detriment, we put others' needs first. So this is the most popular tendency, especially for my audience here on Habit Hack Your Health. If you are a busy working mom, a female in general, taking care of others. And then the last one, the 4th one, is a rebel. Rebels resist both inner and outer expectations. They value their sense of freedom and autonomy and often going against expectations just for the sake of it. Rebels tend to be motivated by their own desires and interests rather than external pressures. They can be unpredictable and may prefer unstructured environments. So this can really help you understand yourself better and how you respond to different types of expectations, right? This is so useful in forming habits. Now, keep in mind, you might even be a mix of tendencies in different situations, but the framework provides just like a general guide, right? You don't have to be like, I'm always a rebel, right? You might fluidly go into both, one or the other, but you're going to be majority one of these tendencies. Maybe one of these tendencies sound just like you. You can actually Google just the 4 Tendencies quiz by Gretchen Rubin. I'll include it in the show notes for you too, to find out your tendency. It's a really easy, short quiz. Like I said, I have everyone do it who is a habit hacker inside of our accelerator program. Now, how do these help with creating habits? Well, let's talk about it. In order to really create habits based on your tendency, you first got to identify your tendency. So first, determine which one describes you best. Me describing those to you, probably already thinking oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. This will provide you insight on how to respond to different expectations, both internal and external. The next is to work with your tendency. So you can tailor your habit building approach accordingly. So if you're an obliger, seek accountability. If you're a questioner, focus on understanding the benefits. If you're a rebel, align that habit with your personal values. You don't care what everyone else is doing, but this habit's going to support you and your personal values. And then use strategies. Hello, my habit hacking system. Tons of freebies in the freebie vault for you as well. It's linked in the show notes. Creating habit loops especially is a great place to start. So for instance, an upholder can set clear goals and create a structured plan, right? They're good to go. While an obliger can involve someone to hold them accountable. Okay? And then lastly, be flexible. As always, being consistently flexible and understand that habits might need to be adjusted as circumstances change and why women have to do habits differently. Rebels in particular might resist habits that feel too rigid, right? Maybe you're a rebel and you're like, I've always wanted to do one of Emily's accelerators, but it feels really rigid. Like, girl, I got you. I've made it so customizable. You can be a rebel and still habit hack your health using the framework, but not like absolute, like you're cuffed to the system for the rest of your life. But understanding this can really help you tailor your habit hacking approach. So let's take this a step further. Let's talk about how a habit loop might look for each tendency. So first, let's talk about a habit loop for an upholder. Remember, they uphold inner and outer expectations. They thrive on structure. So a cue might be a particular time of day or specific event. So let's say end of the workday. Routine is maybe you say an affirmation. Reward is your sense of accomplishment and feeling good about yourself. Like it's an upholder. It's pretty much like create your cue, routine, reward, good to go, right? You are self-motivated. Maybe you have some external accountability by having like a reminder come up on your calendar, so on and so forth. A questioner habit loop. So what they need is to know the why. Why do I got to do this? And do your own research, okay? So maybe you have your why written down as your cue. Your why written down as your cue. So maybe it's around working out. You've done the research and you're like, I know when I weight train, it's going to build more muscle and I feel strong and like a badass when I lift weights, okay? So the routine is working out because of how it makes you feel. Like, that's why I'm doing it, because of the things I just listed and I researched about myself, right? That's why we do that in the step 1 of the habit hacking system. The reward is you're like feeling good, feeling strong, and it's aligned with your values and goals. Next, an obliger habit loop. So you need that external accountability. So maybe your cue is you get a text from a friend every Monday that is time to go work out. The routine is you meet your friend for a walk. The reward is, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm moving my body and having connection with my friend. Look at me doing that external accountability. Boom. Lastly, a rebel habit loop. So it's not forced. This is your own way, your own time, right? You feel flexible and not restrictive with your habits. So maybe your cue is like you just randomly are like, I feel like meal prepping. The routine is you meal prep. On the other side, you're like, great. Good for me. I did a meal prep that worked for me. I'll keep habit hacking this in my life, and that's how I'm going to do it. Boom. So keep in mind these habit loops are just like a generalization, right? And it might not even apply to you within your tendency. You have to dig a little deeper. So go take the quiz, find out which tendency you are. More than likely, you're already leaning towards one that I talked about where you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely that person. And then understand your tendencies, strengths, and potential challenges and adapt your habit hacking strategy accordingly. This is what we do in the Healthy Habits Accelerator and in our community for anyone that purchases an accelerator. Go grab the Healthy Habits Accelerator bundle. You'll be able to habit hack food freedom, mindset, and your movement habits. Or if you need just to habit hack one right now, like go grab one of the mini ones, girl. Like I have got you. This is going to really help you accelerate your habit hacking strategy. But let's start with focusing on which tendency you are and customize your habit hacks from there. Friends, women have to do habits differently, and I got you. All right, thanks so much for listening. I'll catch up with you later this week for Habit Hack Thursday. Hey girl, real quick before you go, did you know I have a secret podcast where I talk all about why most habit strategies don't work for us women? Spoiler alert, it's not our fault. Visit bit.ly/atomic habits for women, it's linked in the show notes, to access my secret podcast series and have your biggest aha moment about why and how women have to do habits differently. And if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Love and appreciate you, friend. We'll see you next time.